How's it going, guys? Dragon Star Production here, back with another What If video, and in this edition of Dragon Ball What Ifs, we'll be doing a pretty requested video, that being What If Shallot was Canon Part 5, and I apologize for this video taking so long. I've been a bit busy and a bit red, and I don't mean the Kaioken, just a bit sunburned. Anyway, the last time we talked about this What If, we dove more into the story of Leek and Gohan in high school, more being the Great Saiyaman Saga. But now we're going to step straight into the World Martial Arts Tournament. Link above if you haven't watched part 4.5, and I will say now, the order of the tournament will be different due to Shallot and Leek both appearing in the tournament. That being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, so the story begins at the World Martial Arts Tournament, where Supreme Kai takes on Kakarot in the very first round. Kakarot wouldn't step down, plus he has no idea of who the Supreme Kai Shin is at this point, and Shin is actually able to hold his ground against Kakarot, if not being able to beat him at this point. Shin actually gets closer with each punch of knocking Kakarot out of the ring, but luckily Kakarot doesn't power up. Instead, Kakarot makes a plan to use his after image followed by a solar flare, then using a flying headbutt that he used to beat Piccolo way back at the 23rd Martial Arts Tournament. So Kakarot would then move on after eliminating Shin, but Supreme Kai does inform him of who he is and why he's even there. This does catch Kakarot off guard, but then he is alert and he's able to tell all the others. The next fight would be between Videl and Spokovich, and this fight would go typically as canon, with Gohan raging out at the very end. And Babidi would then escape back to Buu's egg after absorbing Gohan's energy, and this time Babidi would get a bit more energy for Majin Buu's eggs due to Gohan being slightly stronger because he has a bitter rivalry with, well, not bitter, but he has a rivalry with Leek. That being said, Babidi does send Dabura out to deal with the rest of the Z Fighters, and he tells them to make sure that he takes their energy. Dabura then shoots off to find Piccolo, Krillin, and Vegeta, and then turns them all to stone. Vegeta was being too cocky and didn't go Super Saiyan 2, so this cost him as well as Piccolo and Krillin, who didn't stand a chance in the first place. However, luckily Shallot uses his instant transmission to pop right in there and uppercut Dabura in with his Super Saiyan 2 form. Shallot though does decide to let off because he sees Babidi trying to hide away and escape, so Shallot changes target, dodging Dabura's spit as he makes a run for Babidi. Dabura though wasn't expecting to get nailed in the back by a full power knee. Dabura turns around and Leek stands in front of him with a final cannon just like his father's. Leek lets go of the blast and it takes out Dabura into nothing but dust, bringing back both Piccolo, Krillin, and Vegeta from being stone. This being said, however, everyone is on the search for Babidi, which Babidi actually gets found by the one person that he wanted to be found by. It couldn't be better for him. Babidi was found by Vegeta. Babidi, just like in the canon story, is actually able to turn Vegeta into Majin by manipulating magic inside Vegeta's head. This time though, not for the rematch against Kakarot, but because Vegeta is always coming third to both Shallot and Kakarot ever since the Saiyan Saga, and Vegeta's ego finally cracked, and Vegeta let Babidi turn him into a Majin Vegeta to finally be the top Saiyan. No, the top warrior on Earth. However, Babidi thinks that he has control of Vegeta, but he is rather mistaken. Vegeta has full awareness while being Majin, and Vegeta's first act as Majin is to fight Shallot, especially because Vegeta wants to prove that he is the strongest by taking them out. Vegeta then uses the instant transmission to pop right in front of Shallot, and as soon as Shallot notices the Majin symbol, Shallot charges at Vegeta full speed while kicking him across the face. Shallot tries to take out Vegeta quickly, but this doesn't work. Vegeta's battling with Shallot very evenly. In fact, Vegeta may actually be getting the upper hand due to him simply wanting to win at all cost. However, the two fought, not realizing that Buu had been awoken due to the energy that they were creating. Luckily though, Kakarot remained near Buu's egg and was ready for Buu when he escaped. This being said, Buu and Kakarot began to brawl, and I will say that Kakarot is getting hits in, but he doesn't compare to Buu without the Super Saiyan 3 transformation, so he is still falling behind. However, Kakarot wasn't alone. Leek would then arrive to help Kakarot, hoping that his father could handle Vegeta in the meantime. Leek also powers up to Super Saiyan 2 and goes full force at Majin Buu. Buu is still able to hold his ground, but he is now the one taking a beating. Quickly though, that Leek and Goku or Kakarot both realize that Buu's regeneration is a huge factor in this fight, and that Buu by far is the toughest opponent that they have faced to this point, and they don't see the fight getting any easier. However, back to the Majin Vegeta and Shallot fight. Shallot is actually falling behind Majin Vegeta's because due to his power, the Majin boost is working just the way Vegeta wanted it to. This way that the boost made him way more powerful than all the other Saiyans that was on Earth. However, Shallot tried to think on his toes and convince Vegeta that he didn't gain this power on his own. This wasn't his own strength, but Vegeta brushes it off, saying that he's been missing the ruthless edge about him for quite some time, and this just helped him realize who he is and has been the entire time. Shallot though still tries to reason with Vegeta by telling him about Trunks and Bulma and all the others he's put in danger by helping release Buu. This kind of makes Vegeta smirk, but he doesn't take his eyes off the prize for Shallot 1 second, knowing that Shallot will strike in the most opportune moments. Shallot though doesn't attack. Instead, he changes his attention towards Kakarot and Leek's energy and heads that way, but before he could, Vegeta charges up a Gallic gun and nails Shallot right in the back. This wasn't at full power, but Shallot, being off guard, is out for a bit and has a good bit of damage took to him. Luckily though, this will lead to a much needed Zenkai for Shallot in the future. Vegeta makes his way over to Buu, where Vegeta has the mindset now that he will be the one to defeat Buu at any cost, not any other of the Saiyans. Vegeta then charges full speed while Kakarot and Leek are trying to strategize to defeat Buu. At this point, Kakarot flies behind Buu and tries to grab him, but Buu shakes him off and shoots a candy beam. However, Leek nudges him out of the way. The two seem to be on their roads, were coming to a dead end, but then Majin Vegeta came to the rescue. Also, Trunks and Goten are coming as well because they sensed that their fathers were fighting, and Majin Vegeta wasted no time in dashing in at Buu, catching the pink creature right across the side of the face. Then Majin Vegeta stays on the attack for a bit. However, this leads to us having Vegeta saying his goodbyes and going for the final explosion after realizing that he wasn't strong enough to defeat Buu without doing this. And the final explosion did seem to be very effective, or at least everyone thought it was going to be. Instead though, Buu somehow survived the attack some way or another. Everyone at this point is stunned, but now they have to figure out a plan, and they have to do it soon. Meanwhile though, Gohan had caught up to Piccolo and Krillin, who were still on the search for Babidi. They come across Shallot, who is just now picking himself up from the fight with Majin Vegeta. Then they start talking about Babidi, but Shallot thinks that it is best for him and Gohan to head towards Majin Buu, knowing that Vegeta had just died due to not feeling his ki after waking up. Piccolo and Krillin agree to this, so they all split up. Piccolo and Krillin actually do manage to find Babidi, and believing maybe if they kill him, Majin Buu wouldn't be a threat any longer. So Krillin throws a Destructo Disc, nailing Babidi. This cuts him straight in half, killing him on the spot. However, this does nothing to Majin Buu. Anyway, speaking of Majin Buu, he comes across Hercule and his dog, and this eventually leads to us getting Super Buu, and all that events takes place. And yeah, yada yada yada, I'm going to skip the details here. We all know what happens. That being said, Shallot and Gohan show up to the scene to witness Leek and Kakarot trying to now fight this skinny Buu. However, this Buu is wiping the floor with both of them, forcing Shallot and Gohan to charge in with all their force. All four Saiyans started working as a combo, but Buu is holding his own until Shallot catches Super Buu right across the jaw. Shallot though doesn't let off the attack. Instead, he uses his instant transmission and pops around Buu, nailing him in all different angles until Buu grabs Shallot by the arms and tosses him to the ground, shooting a mouth barrage straight towards him, putting Shallot out of commission for quite some time. But now, Super Buu was angry. He was furious and took all his anger out on beating all the others to a pulp. Super Buu was unstoppable. He flew up into the air and he raised one hand and he shot off 1,000,000 ki blasts all over the earth. This killed almost the entire population. But when the smoke settled, the blast killed Krillin, Yamcha, Chi-Chi, Tien, Master Roshi's, and many others didn't make it out alive as well. But in this timeline, Piccolo was one that managed to survive. And this was extremely injured, but he did manage to keep alive and would be no use in the battle. As for Shallot and Kakarot, they barely are able to lift their heads up when they notice that both Gohan and Leek are nowhere to be found. Shallot and Kakarot both jump up in panic as they're trying to find their sons, but had no luck. Both Saiyans wanted to go straight in and fight Buu, but they knew they had no chance, so instead they headed up to a lookout where they entered the hyperbolic time chamber together. However, their sons were found and they were doing some training of their own. Leek and Gohan both woke up on the world of the Kais. Just like in Canon, Supreme Kai Shin is able to save Gohan, and in this timeline he's able to save Leek as well. Gohan and Leek are only training with the Z sword at this point until Leek and Gohan break the sword in half. This releases Elder Kai, who then unlocks both Gohan and Leek's potential after hearing the threat of Super Buu. In the meantime, though, I'll skip a full day because Shallot and Kakarot have completed their year of training in the time chamber, while Leek and Gohan are only minutes away from being down with the ritual. Shallot and Kakarot grew to extreme heights, as we will see here in the fight. Both felt like they were strong enough to beat Super Buu at this point, so launched themselves straight at Buu's way. When they arrive, the two are more serious than ever. In fact, no words are spoken. Instead, Kakarot leaps at Super Buu, as Kakarot isn't doing very well until he charges up. Kakarot starts to scream louder than we've ever heard him before. His hair grows super long as he's lost his eyebrows, and he was now Super Saiyan 3. And he easily starts wiping the floor with Super Buu. And if you don't believe that Goku could have got Super Saiyan 3 in this time, I believe that he has Super Saiyan 3, but he's just recently tapped into it and he knows about the power. That being said, Super Buu was getting demolished, but Super Buu did have one thing that was going to go for him good, and that was going to be that Super Saiyan 3 had a big drawback: its stamina drain. And right before Kakarot could blast Buu with a Super Kamehameha, Kakarot falls face first from exhaustion. Luckily though, Shallot is right there to jump in and Kakarot can't fight. Shallot then charges up into his Super Saiyan 2 form. Super Buu is quite impressed about the sudden increase of power, and Shallot, much like Vegeta, focused on Super Saiyan 2 after finding out about the stamina drain that Super Saiyan 3 had. Super Buu still had a plan up his sleeve though, so Shallot dived at Buu, catching him right across the jaw with a right hook, followed up with a massive combo, ending with a ki blast that caught him right across the gut and caused him to go crashing right near Kakarot. However, before Shallot could finish Super Buu off with his final cannon, a pink ball flew over the air, wrapping itself around Kakarot, absorbing him right then and there. Shallot was shocked as he stood no chance against Buu, the fusion of Super Buu and Kakarot. Buu wasted no time at all at throwing Shallot into the dirt. Buu then grabs Shallot by the neck and yanks him up from the ground. Shallot then slowly starts to fade from his Super Saiyan 2 to his base form, and Buu was seconds away from killing Shallot when two ki blasts nailed Buu right directly in the back, forcing him to drop Shallot. Buu turns around to see Leek and Gohan rushing simultaneously towards him with their potentials unlocked. And that's where we're going to be leaving off part 5 of this video, you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you smash the like goal if you want to see part 6, and the like goal will be, well, there's not one, just make sure you hit this video with a lot of likes, and this next video will cover the end of the Buu arc and both the Battle of Gods and ROF. Also, make sure you guys go over there and just subscribe to Cobes Draw and follow him on Twitter at CobesArp. That being said, this has been Dragon Star Productions. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and join the coexisting Discord with me and What If Universe, and go over there and like us on Facebook. Alright, that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I am out.
I am Lord Frieza, Emperor of the Universe, and I advise you to like this video and subscribe to Dragon Star Productions, or you'll force me to use 100% of my power. Oh, ho, ho, ho. But that won't be necessary because you've already hit the bell for all alerts and notifications. Ho, 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 ho.